Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance. Yasmin relics are finally here, and this is an important moment for the game. Not because she needed help, but because relics change how her damage works, how fast she kills, and how dangerous she becomes in real fights. Yasmin has always been about precision. She jumps, she marks, she deletes one target at a time. With relics, that identity stays the same, but the punishment is heavier, faster, and much harder to recover from if you make a mistake. In this video, we're not guessing, and we're not exaggerating. We're going to go skill by skill, legendary upgrade by legendary upgrade, and explain exactly what each one does, how it affects battles, and where it really matters, on offense and on defense. Now let's start with Yasmin's first relic skill, unlocked at Legendary Relic level 1, Lethal Sting. This relic adds a completely new layer of pressure to Yasmin's kit, and it works independently from her jump, her ult, or her normal attack cycle. Every 8 seconds, Yasmin automatically strikes the enemy with the lowest current health. This is not random, and it does not care about position. It always targets the weakest remaining enemy on the field. The damage is physical, it scales directly with Yasmin's physical attack, and most importantly, it always crits. No crit chance checks. No RNG. Every trigger is a guaranteed critical hit. What this means in practice is very simple. Even when Yasmin is not jumping, not ulting, and not actively attacking a target, she is still executing enemies in the background. This relic is especially dangerous against supports trying to survive in the backline, healers that drop low but don't die instantly, dodge or shield-based heroes that rely on almost surviving. Because the hit is guaranteed critical damage, it punishes low health targets harder than normal basic attacks. If an enemy drops low and expects to recover with healing or shielding, Lethal Sting often finishes the job before that happens. Another important detail. This relic does not require Yasmin to switch targets. She can be fighting one hero while the relic kills another. This makes her pressure split across the enemy team, which is something Yasmin never had before. At relic level 1, this already turns Yasmin into a constant execution threat. On defense, it forces attackers to respect her even when she is controlled or delayed. On offense, it cleans fights faster and removes clutch survivals that used to turn battles around. This first relic doesn't change how you play Yasmin. It simply makes her less forgiving to fight against. Now let's talk about what really changes once Dance of Death is upgraded with Legendary Relics, because this is where Yasmin stops being just dangerous and becomes almost impossible to control. At Legendary Relic level 10, Dance of Death gains a completely new layer of power. Before the relic, Yasmin is already immune to debuffs while the skill is active. That alone makes her hard to stop. But with the relic upgrade, the immunity does not end when the skill ends. Instead, once Dance of Death finishes, Yasmin remains immune to all negative effects for an additional 5 seconds. And this is massive. What this means in real battles is that even if the enemy survives her initial burst, they still cannot stun her, slow her, silence her, blind her, charm her, or control her in any way. For a full 5 extra seconds, Yasmin keeps attacking freely, completely uninterrupted. This directly counters heroes and teams that rely on control windows to stop assassins. Timing stuns no longer works. Delaying effects no longer works. Last second crowd control simply fails. Yasmin goes in, marks her target, finishes Dance of Death, and then continues the kill without fear of retaliation. In practical terms, this relic upgrade turns Dance of Death from a burst skill into a guaranteed execution phase. Once it starts, the enemy either kills Yasmin instantly, or they don't stop her at all. This also makes her dramatically stronger against modern control heavy metas, because she ignores the very mechanics designed to stop assassins. So the Legendary Relic doesn't just add power. It removes counterplay. And that is what truly makes Yasmin terrifying after relic investment. Here we are looking at Embrace of Pain, Yasmin's third skill, and again we need to separate what the base skill already does from what the Legendary Relic actually adds, because the relic does not change the identity of the skill, it pushes it into overdrive. At max level without relics, Embrace of Pain already works like this. Every time Yasmin lands a critical hit, she applies a poison debuff to the enemy. That poison deals pure damage, not physical, not magical, pure damage, ticking every 5 seconds. If Yasmin keeps attacking the same target and keeps critting, the poison refreshes instead of expiring, and the damage stacks, up to 10 stacks. This is already strong on its own, because it means tanks don't really protect you from Yasmin. Armor doesn't matter, magic defense doesn't matter, the poison just keeps eating you alive. Now comes the Legendary Relic upgrade, and this is where the real danger starts. At Legendary Relic level 20, Embrace of Pain gains a completely new effect on top of the existing poison mechanics. From that point forward, every single critical hit gives Yasmin bonus energy. Not a chance? Not once per skill. Every crit. And this is huge, because Yasmin is one of the fastest crit machines in the game. What this means in practice is simple and brutal. The poison keeps stacking. The poison keeps refreshing. And now, while that's happening, Yasmin is also charging her ultimate faster and faster. So instead of this loop, Dance of Death wait normal attacks next ult later. You now get, Dance of Death poison stacking energy flooding Dance of Death again. This relic turns Embrace of Pain from a damage over time skill into an engine that feeds her ultimate, keeps pressure on the same target, and completely removes downtime between assassinations. And when you connect this with what we already explained on the second relic, the extended immunity after Dance of Death ends, you start to see the full picture. Yasmin is now immune during her ult. Immune after her ult? Poisoning with stacking pure damage. Gaining energy on every crit. Looping her ultimate faster than before. This is no longer just high damage Yasmin. This is momentum Yasmin. Once she starts, she doesn't stop. And that's why this third relic is not just a stat upgrade. It's a tempo upgrade. It makes Yasmin snowball fights instead of trading skills. It punishes slow teams. And it forces opponents to kill her instantly. Or not at all. If you want, next we can do the fourth relic. Or a short recap segment that ties all relics together for your video flow. Or straight into priority advice, which relic levels actually matter. Now we reach Shadow Waltz, Yasmin's final legendary relic, unlocked at Legendary Relic level 30. And this one doesn't add damage. It adds survivability at the exact moment Yasmin is supposed to die. Here is how Shadow Waltz works, step by step. If Yasmin loses more than 15% of her maximum health from a single enemy attack, Shadow Waltz immediately triggers. When it triggers, Yasmin dodges all incoming attacks for 5 seconds. Not increased dodge chance. Not partial evasion. She dodges everything. Physical attacks. Basic attacks. Heavy bursts. Follow-up hits. For 5 full seconds, nothing connects. There is only one limitation. This effect cannot trigger more than once every 10 seconds. And that detail is important, because it tells us exactly how this relic is meant to be used. Shadow Waltz is not random. It is not passive defense. It is an anti-burst safety net. This relic activates when an enemy finally manages to break through Yasmin's pressure and lands a big hit, the kind of hit that would normally kill an assassin instantly. Instead of dying, Yasmin phases out of danger. And now connect this with everything we've already covered. She already has immunity during Dance of Death, extended immunity after Dance of Death ends, poison stacking with pure damage, energy generation on every critical hit. Now add Shadow Waltz on top of that. When an enemy finally lands a heavy hit, Shadow Waltz triggers. Yasmin dodges everything. She continues attacking, she continues critting, she continues gaining energy. She often cycles back into Dance of Death again, so the kill window closes. What Shadow Waltz really does is delete the counterplay timing. Before relics, the answer to Yasmin was simple: survive her jump, then burst her. With Shadow Waltz, that window disappears. If you fail to kill her instantly, she doesn't just survive, she resets the fight in her favor. And that's why this final relic is so dangerous. It doesn't make Yasmin stronger on paper. It makes her harder to stop in real combat. Together, all 4 relics turn Yasmin into something very different from the old version. She is no longer just a fast assassin. She is a sustained damage threat, a poison engine, an energy machine, a control immune diver, and now a burst-resistant assassin. Once she starts moving, the fight bends around her. And that's why Relic Yasmin isn't just stronger Yasmin. She's a different tier of hero. So Guardians, that's the full breakdown of Yasmin's legendary relics, not hype, not theory, just how they actually work in battle and why they change everything. If you're facing Relic Yasmin and she feels impossible to kill, now you know why. And if you're building her yourself, you also know exactly what you're investing into: momentum, pressure, and relentless control of the fight. If this breakdown helped you, make sure to support the channel. Almost half of our viewers are still not subscribed, and that support truly helps us keep creating clear, honest guides for the community. Drop your questions or tests, and your experiences in the comments. We read everything. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.